Hello, boys and girls. How are you? I hope that you are having a great day. Well, here I am. All my students are gone now, and so you're not going to have any noises like last lesson, okay? But we are here to do another review lesson. Just in case that you forgot, my name is Mr. Broussard, and we are here to do what? Absolutely, science. So let's get started. Let's look at our learning target and start with our science lesson. Our learning target is I can use prior knowledge about light and devices that manipulate light waves to answer multiple choice questions, okay? So it's going to be about light waves and devices that manipulate, that use light waves to enhance our senses, and we're going to be answering multiple choice questions. Okay, so we're going to have to use the information that is already stored here in our brains and answer questions that are more like real life situations. Okay, so not just like coming up with a definition or drawing something, but to actually make sense of situations that deal with light waves and devices that manipulate the light waves. Okay? So let's get started. Okay, just to refresh our memory, I'd like you to watch a video. Okay, so click on light waves video, or your teacher is going to do that for you. Click on that, watch it. If you have to take notes, take notes. And you're not going to find any new information there. It's just information that we have studied in the past, but we just want to remember it before we start answering questions, okay? So watch the video carefully. As I said, take notes if you need to, and then we'll get started with the questions. So now that you watched the video, let's get started with the questions, okay? All right. So a young man is wearing a white shirt. What is the reason that his shirt appears white? Let's read it one more time. Make sure that we know what's happening. So a young man is wearing a white shirt. What is the reason that his shirt appears white? So a guy's wearing a white shirt, right? Why is it that what we see is white? Why is that color white? What's going on with light waves? Let's look at our choices. All the colors are being absorbed. All the colors are being reflected. All the colors except white are being absorbed. And all the colors except white are being reflected. Well, what do we know about white? Well, let me ask you another question. What do we know about black? What do we know about black? A blackboard or a black marker. What do we know about black? We know that black is when all the colors are being absorbed. So, what is white? White is all the colors being reflected. So let's look at our choices. All the colors are being absorbed. No, that's black. All the colors except for white is being absorbed. There is no white color. It's all the colors together. All the colors except white are being reflected. No, because white is not a color, really. All the colors are being reflected. That's it. That's it. All the colors are being reflected. That is white. Let's look at this question. After a rainstorm, a rainbow appears across the sky. What is this caused by? So a rainstorm and a rainbow appears, and we want to know what caused this rainbow. So what causes a rainbow after a rainstorm? That's the question that we need to answer. Let's look at our choices. Let's look at our choices. Refraction, reflection, prisms, and absorption. Okay, so we know that prism is that, you remember, like a triangle, or actually it doesn't have to be a triangle, but it's like a lens, a glass, right? And even water can be a prism. And when light goes through it, it's broken down into the different color waves. So prism is not really an action. It is a name of something. Is the light being absorbed? Is it absorption? Is the light being reflected, or is the light being refracted? So what is happening when there is a rainbow? What's actually happening is refraction. That's what's happening. Refraction. Ready for another question? All right, let's do it. Okay, so while Jorge was getting his new glasses, his doctor explained how the lenses in the eyeglasses would work to help his vision. Okay, so somebody is getting glasses and the doctor is explaining how the glasses are going to help. So which phrase best explains how the lenses would work? So how do eyeglasses work? Let's look at our choices. So let's see what these lenses will do. They will absorb light before it enters his eyes. They will attract more light into his eyes. They will reflect light away from his eyes, or they will refract light before it enters his eyes. So let's think about this for a moment. What do lenses do? Do they absorb? Do they attract? Do they reflect? Or do they refract? So it cannot be absorbing. The lenses are not going to absorb the light, and they're not going to attract the light. We want the light to go through and work better for us. So when light goes through, that is refraction. So here is our choice: refract the light before it enters his eyes. That's the correct response. This next question is an easy one. Okay, so which terms defines a clear object that separates white light into all the colors of the rainbow? So it is a clear object and it separates white light, all the light waves, into the colors of the rainbow. So it is either an insulator or a lens, a mirror, or a prism. So we know that mirror reflects. So it could be a lens, because lenses do refract, but what is the object that separates light in the rainbow colors? Well, that is a prism, okay? A prism. A prism, okay? Remember that. A prism separates light into the colors of the rainbow, into the colors that the human eye can see. All right, let's do one more question. This question is a little bit similar to one that we did before. So what occurs, what happens when light passes through one object into another and changes direction or bends? So what is happening, okay? Is light being absorbed? Is light being conducted? Is light being reflected? Or is light being refracted? So what is happening? Well, we know that when light goes through one object and it appears like it's bent. Remember those experiments that we did a long time ago? So when light is bent, what's happening is refraction, okay? Remember, bending light would be called refraction. We have time for one more question, okay? All right, so what is true about the visible light spectrum? What is true about the visible light spectrum? That means the waves that the human eye can see. The colors have different amounts of energy. The colors have the same amount of energy. The colors can only be seen when light passes through air. The colors can only be seen when light hits a solid. When light hits a solid. No, we can see colors when light hits a liquid. The colors can only be seen when light passes through air. No, light can travel without air. The colors have the same amount of energy. Remember that the colors are waves? Were all the waves exactly the same? Did they have the same wavelength? Okay, no, they didn't. Red was much more, the color red had much more longer wavelength than violet. So the only choice would be the colors have different amounts of energy. So choice A. You can see that the wavelengths are different, meaning that they have different amounts of energy. Okay, boys and girls, this is the end of our review today. I hope that you have a great rest of the day. Remember that science is everywhere. Look for it. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. See you next time.